Good morning, good morning. We are in one of my absolute favorite spots in all of DFW. But before I tell you, you actually may be able to see it behind me a little bit, but before I get into it, so I grew up in North Carolina. And North Carolina is a really outdoorsy place. There's so many things to do outside. And so when I moved to Dallas, it was a bit of a culture shock for me. There wasn't a lot to do outside because it's so freaking hot here all the time. And it's a really urban place. And then I discovered White Rock Lake. And White Rock Lake was finally that missing piece of the puzzle where it made me feel like I could stay here for a while because at least they've got a lake here. I say all that to say, the neighborhood that we are touring this week, I would say White Rock Lake is maybe the anchor of this neighborhood. It's something that locals moved to this neighborhood to be close to White Rock Lake. This week, we're in Lakewood. Lakewood sits on the west shore of White Rock Lake, and it's a benefit that the nature-loving locals take full advantage of. I would say the lifestyle here in Lakewood is active, outdoorsy, and they have a really strong sense of community. And while Lakewood's sleepy, shady streets may convince you you're out in the burbs, you're actually only 15 minutes from downtown Dallas. So on the map, Lakewood sits with the east border of Abrams Road and a west border of White Rock Lake. To the north, you border Mockingbird Lane, and to the south, it goes as far as Gaston Avenue. So when the city of Dallas settled in the 19th century, the eastern boundary was Fitzhugh Street. Everything else was farmland. But once the railroad came, Dallasites began settling eastward, including the Buhrer family, a Swiss family who migrated to Dallas in 1879. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I totally butchered that name and that pronunciation. And if you wanna come for me in the comments, you're more than welcome to, because I totally butchered that. I am so sorry. So they owned a dairy farm on White Rock Creek, and as Dallas kept growing, the citizens voted to build a lake on White Rock Creek with a dam at the edge of the Buhrer Swiss dairy farm. And so for the full story on the Buhrer family, and let me tell you, it is actually very, very interesting. You can go to Advocate magazine. I have linked that article down below. Just the history behind it, I think it's really cool. So some things to do and see in Lakewood. We are gonna get into it. We are starting with the anchor of this entire community, White Rock Lake. So White Rock Lake is over 1,100 acres of lake, and they have over 9 miles of walking trails, biking trails, jogging trails, all around the lake. And one of my favorite parts about White Rock Lake is the dog park. The dog park is awesome, and I'm getting a dog soon, and I literally am counting down the days until I can take little schnookums to White Rock Lake. So this dog park behind me is normally absolutely packed on the weekends. There is like no spot. There's so many dogs walking around. I'm obviously here during a weekday, so can't really see all the dogs, but you gotta come here during the weekend even if you don't have a dog. It is awesome. One of the cool things about White Rock Lake is there's rowing teams here, so you can join a rowing team. There's also a sailing team. You can put your kayak in, paddleboard in. The only thing that you cannot do in White Rock Lake, you can't swim in White Rock Lake. This was actually banned back in 1953, and I looked into it. It turns out just the overall quality of the lake was not great for humans to swim in, if that makes sense. And since then, they've had all kinds of like sewage leaks. At the end of the day, I think we don't want to swim in White Rock Lake. As much as it pains me and as much as I do want to swim in the lake, I think we gotta go to Lake Louisville for that, because White Rock Lake, I'm just a little questionable on like how safe that would be. So it could be due to the sewage that we can no longer swim in White Rock Lake, but it also could be because of the Lady of the Lake. One of the best known Dallas legends is the Lady of the Lake, a ghostly woman figure who haunts White Rock Lake. So the story goes like this. A woman named Anne Clark wrote the account of the Lady at the Lake, published in 1943. In this accounting, a young couple parked on the shore of White Rock Lake. When they switched their headlights on, they saw a woman in white coming toward them. A young girl dressed in a sheer, wet white dress, and she spoke in a faltering voice. I'm sorry to intrude, and I would not under any other circumstances, but I must find my way home immediately. My boat overturned, the others are safe, but I must get home. She climbed into the back seat, saying that she did not wish to get the young lady wet. She gave them an address in Oak Cliff, but when they asked her for directions, they turned around only to find the back seat empty and wet. The couple went to the address she gave them. A sad man met them at the door, and the man told them, "This is a very strange thing. You are actually the third couple who has come to me with this story. 3 weeks ago, while sailing on White Rock Lake, my daughter drowned." Whew. I get a little scared, but like, you gotta love a ghost story. You know what I mean? So another thing to do around White Rock Lake is the bathhouse. And you may have seen this old house on the shores of White Rock Lake and wondered, what is that building? Well, it's actually an art center. So if you've ever been to White Rock Lake and you've seen this house structure looking thing behind me, I've always been curious what this was. And turns out it's an old bathhouse. So back when you could swim in White Rock Lake before 1953, people would come to this location back here and they would rent swimsuits, they would rent lockers, and this entire stretch of land out here would be people swimming. How cool is that? They would come from all over DFW to swim at White Rock Lake. Two other really popular spots around Lakewood is the Lakewood Shopping Center, then the Lakewood Theater. So the Lakewood Shopping Center is one of the hubs of the neighborhood. You have shopping centers over there, you've got Whole Foods, you have cool places to eat, of course you've got the Starbucks, and then in that same little center, you have Lakewood Theater. The Lakewood Theater is a Dallas landmark built in 1938. The historic Lakewood Theater was recently repurposed as a bowling alley called Bolsky's, and it preserved many of the architectural features of the original Lakewood Theater. So beside the Lakewood Theater, not Miko Sena, but there is a Miko Sena over there. Y'all know how I feel about Miko Sena. It's good. Anyway, beside the Lakewood Theater is the Balcony Club. So the Balcony Club offers jazz, blues, classic rock, and R&B 7 nights a week. And I am itching to go. I love R&B, I love jazz music. Got a chance? Go on their website and see what's playing that week. I'm so excited to go and I may see you there. So as far as the schools in Lakewood, Lakewood is actually home to one of the best public elementary schools in all of Dallas called Lakewood Elementary. It's rated very highly on greatschools.org, which is my main resource for looking at school ratings and checking school ratings throughout DFW. So let's talk about the real estate. Lakewood is known for its real estate. It is not the community that's cookie cutter. I would say almost every house is a little bit different. Tudor, a colonial, a mid-century modern, Spanish, Mediterranean ranch, prairie style home. You have so many different architectural styles in Lakewood, which is one of the reasons why it's such an attractive place where buyers want to be. One of the streets that's a great place to drive is the border of White Rock Lake. So they have a road that borders the lake. It also borders the walking trail that's around White Rock Lake. Y'all, let me tell you, it is worth the drive to just drive through Lakewood, look at the houses, and all of them are different. Well, that is a wrap on this week's video. I hope you loved the tour of Lakewood. If you have any questions about Dallas, the surrounding suburbs, or maybe neighborhoods here, I am a Dallas realtor and would absolutely love to help you find your perfect place here in Dallas. So my contact information is below, and I will see you on the next video. These ducks want to be featured in the video. Hold on, I gotta show you.